Mill Creek is the largest tributary to the Yellowstone River in Paradise Valley and provides critical habitat for Yellowstone cutthroat trout. The lower watershed contains rich ranch lands that transition into forest land with ample public access. Yellowstone cutthroat trout have been swimming these waters for millennia, and as a foundational species in this watershed, they are highly adapted to the harsh climate and wild river. Throughout their range, Yellowstone cutthroat trout occupy just 43% of their historic habitat. Of these populations, only 14% are secure from any threats in the foreseeable future. For this reason, the persistence of cutthroat trout in Mill Creek is critical to the survival of this unique species of trout. Unfortunately, historic land use practices coupled with introduction of non-native trout threaten this important population. To address these issues, Trout Unlimited is working with the Forest Service, Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, and private landowners to protect and enhance this important population of Yellowstone cutthroat trout.
Today we are up here on Mill Creek, which is the largest watershed in the upper Yellowstone River Basin. And in fact, there are 210 stream miles in this watershed. It's also a very important watershed for Yellowstone cutthroat conservation because we have 45 stream miles that are occupied by our native Yellowstone cutthroat trout. Unfortunately, non-native rainbow trout are expanding their distribution in the basin. Rainbow trout can cause the extinction of our native Yellowstone cutthroat trout through hybridization. Essentially, the genes that make Yellowstone cutthroat trout unique and special are lost forever. Unfortunately, you just can't catch Yellowstone cutthroat anywhere. You know, this area, the upper Yellowstone, is really the stronghold for these native fish, and once they're lost forever. So to alleviate this threat, the Forest Service is working with our Trout Unlimited and Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks partners to construct a fish barrier to secure the entire upper watershed from invasion of non-native rainbow trout. If the agencies fail to act now to keep non-native fish, especially rainbow trout, out of the upper watershed, this could mean really intensive and expensive non-native fish removal efforts down the road. We're really trying to avoid that by being proactive and constructing a barrier now while we can still protect what we have before it's lost. This project will cost upwards of $600,000, and it sounds like a lot of money, but you know, conserving a very important population in the upper Yellowstone is worth it.
A few miles downstream of the proposed barrier site, Trout Unlimited is working with private landowners and the Forest Service to enhance habitat for Yellowstone cutthroat trout.
80 to 100 years ago, Mill Creek would have occupied this entire valley bottom with braiding and meandering all across the valley. Sometime after the 1940s, the channel was confined into a single channel to make the floodplain available for agriculture, with the result of drying up the floodplain and decreasing nutrient exchange between the stream and the floodplain. This new channel had berms built along the banks of the channel in order to keep the floodwaters in the channel and decrease floodplain connection. What should be some of the richest cutthroat water through these meadows is now water that you might skip over while fishing. There's very low complexity with almost no large wood in the streams, creating a lack of holding water and overhead cover for the cutthroat, and also a lack of sediment sorting for spawning gravels. What we're looking at behind me is kind of our end goal for some of the restoration work we're doing down here. This meadow is wet almost all year round with a good amount of riparian vegetation growing alongside the stream. Upstream from here, the meadow is completely dried out along the reaches of stream where the berms have been built, and we're really lacking that floodplain inundation. And that also causes anything that might get into the stream, like large wood, to just flush out and move downstream as well, not depositing and creating good fish habitat. We did a pilot project in summer 2023 where we built some test log structures in the stream in order to cause scour to form pools and create better fish habitat. The project is continuing for the next few years, and we're going to continue to add wood to the channel and to tear down the berm along the banks to enable the stream to connect with the floodplain. The habitat work in this area, coupled with the barrier upstream, creates a portfolio of conservation actions to conserve the long-term viability of Yellowstone cutthroat trout in Mill Creek.